Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the June 2013 meeting of the Subway and Bus Committee, which is MTA speak for the New York City Transit Authority. It's a subsidiary MABSTOA. It's sister authority, Staten Island Rapid Transit Operating Authority, and our fabulous bus companies. Are there any public speakers?
Good morning, Chairman. Yes, there are 3 public speakers, and the first speaker is George Kalfer.
Hello, my name is George Kalfer, and I'm here to speak for the 3rd time on an issue regarding service in my neighborhood. There's no east-west service between Forest Avenue and Victory Boulevard, and as a result, people are forced to walk long distances and take indirect routes. The S57 and S66 restructuring that I proposed 5 months ago would alleviate these issues, and I was told that at least some data would be collected regarding it. I understand these things take time, and I understand there's a process to go through, but all I want is for some data to be collected as to whether it might be feasible to implement, because some of the use of the current funds and the current extensions has been questionable, to say the least. I have a petition with 465 signatures, and it's unfair for the community and for me and the people who signed the petition to be left in the dark like this. And I'm requesting again that this matter be looked into, and that for east-west service between Victory Boulevard and Forest Avenue, a direct east-west route. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We shall look into this.
Thank you. The next speaker is Murray Bowden.
Morning. I've reset my timer on my watch to 1 minute. My meetings now are limited to 1 minute at the halls, at the coffee, in the bathroom. I don't do regular meetings anymore because they're useless. I haven't gotten me anywhere. World changed. I've changed. First of all, I want to thank all kinds of people around here who have helped me over the last number of years. It's been appreciated. I could not have done this without your help and support. To those who I may have insulted over the course of the years, it takes time to grow up. I apologize. I wish I had done it differently. Unfortunately, I did do a lot of stupid things in my life. I have to go on. We move forward. Who are the people I have to work with today? People I didn't work with a year ago, 6 months ago. I need to work with whoever is interested in moving forward. After the last meeting, I had the opportunity to drive through Rockaway and Breezy Point and the whole works. It was pretty early on in the thing, and I was on a boardwalk watching them repair it. Actually helped them design a pry bar to pull the whole stuff up. I'll get involved in that kind of stuff. And it's been incredibly interesting that you've been able to get that back up in service that quickly. And I know about the planning that went into getting things put away properly. Most people don't. I do. And you've done an excellent job of planning. I've been following the way you've been cleaning the tracks and doing this fast track. It's leadership. It's appreciated. Some other people need to learn from the kind of lessons that you set the standard for others to follow. And on behalf of the people of the city who don't get an opportunity to stand up here and say thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Murray, and don't take seriously your previous threats to retire. If you keep saying things like that, you should keep going on here forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. The next speaker is Luke De Palma, representing Borough President Marty Markowitz.
Good morning. Good morning, Acting MTA Chairman Fernando Ferrer, Committee Chairman Mark Lebo, and other board members present. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Luke De Palma. I am the Director of Policy and Planning for the Brooklyn Borough President Marty Markowitz. I'm here to speak on his behalf, on behalf of the Borough President who could not make it here today, in support of the expansion of the B67 bus and the creation of the B32. The Borough President enthusiastically supports and welcomes this new New York City Transit service expansion along its northern waterfront. Brooklyn's northern waterfront neighborhoods and commercial industrial zones, from Dumbo, the Brooklyn Navy Yard, through Williamsburg and Greenpoint, have experienced tremendous residential and commercial growth in the last 10 years. And North Brooklyn's waterfront is now home to some of the city's newest and most exciting tech, media, and industrial companies, as well as some of the largest and newest residential development. The proposed expansion of the B67 and the creation of the B32 are much-needed service expansions to meet this continued growth. We all know that waterfront neighborhoods in the city are some of the most disconnected areas when it comes to public transit, and this disconnect makes sustaining economic growth problematic without investments in transportation, which is why the MTA's proposed service expansion is so important. Both these routes will provide thousands of people with easier commutes and transit connections between waterfront neighborhoods and other buses and subways. I commend New York City Transit for their work in soliciting feedback from the public and elected officials on the creation of these two routes and for being proactive in meeting the needs of current and future residents and businesses in Brooklyn. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. De Palma. Thank you, public speakers. The minutes of our April meeting, which was our last meeting, are in the materials before you. Are there any additions or corrections? There's been a motion to approve the minutes. Second, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Minutes are approved. Are there any changes to our alleged work plan? There are no proposed changes to the work plan. Okay. It now gives me great pleasure to recognize for the second meeting in a row our acting president, Carmen Bianco. Do not believe what his sign says. He has not been demoted to senior vice president of subways. He is still, for the second meeting in a row, the acting president of the New York City Transit Authority. Carmen, congratulations to you and everybody on your staff for restoring service to the Rockaways. That was a remarkable accomplishment, and you make us all proud. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. I wanted to start out my talk today before I hand it over to Joe Leader for the operations report. I did want to highlight the work that went on out in the Rockaways to restore that service. As everyone knows, we launched the service back on the 30th. It was an amazing day. But what was truly amazing about it was the amount of work that went into that, the collaborative effort by so many different departments within New York City Transit, whether it's CPM, Capital Programs Management, Department of Subways, Department of Buses, and all of the support departments that just made that happen. It was truly a wonderful day, and we're very happy that we're able to bring back service to our customers in the Rockaways. The second thing that I'd like to talk about, which was newsworthy, on May 29th at 5:50 p.m., we had a southbound number 1 train derailed just south of 125th Street on the Broadway line. Train experienced a emergency brake application. Following that, when we got out there, we found out that the first truck, the first 2 axles on the very lead car, had derailed. We had 425 customers on the train. Each and every customer was safely able to get back to the 125th Street station. There were no reported injuries. That incident is under investigation by our Department of the Office of System Safety. They will do a thorough investigation. We will find a cause, and we will whatever direction that leads us, we will certainly follow through at that point. So I just wanted to bring that up today. In the interim, we will stay the course in terms of what we do to inspect our tracks, inspect our trains. Everyone should be aware that our tracks are walked 2 times a week by a track inspector. We have supervisors that walk it twice a month, and then we also have regular ultrasonic testing that takes place. So all of this will continue. So with that, I'd like to also introduce Joe Leader. Joe Leader is the acting senior vice president of Subway, and Joe will deliver the operations report.
Yes, congratulations to you, Joe, on this tribulation, and we apologize to you for our sign makers. You know, they're a little bit behind the times with all these changes of personnel, and the titles keep getting longer and longer, so it's tough for them. But welcome and thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning. Subway performance results for the 12-month period ending April 2013 are as follows. System-wide weekday weight assessment for the 12-month period continues to improve. For the 12-month period, it increased 1.6% as to last year's average. Our efforts to provide evenly spaced service for our customers from the Rail Control Center are driving the continued increase in weight assessment each day. Even though our primary service delivery focus is on providing evenly spaced trains to provide the best service possible to our customers, we are mindful that maintaining on-time performance within our system is important. Weekday OTP was up slightly in April 2013 compared to April 2012, while the 12-month average was down 1.7 compared to last year. As we've mentioned before, the high levels of ridership and service, particularly on the A division, exacerbate what might otherwise be small incidents in our system. For example, on Thursday, April 18th at 8:32 a.m., during the height of the AM rush hour, a sick customer in Brooklyn caused 109 delays to service on the 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines. This is why our ability to effectively manage and control incidents centrally is so critical to the gains in performance we have seen and will continue to see our weight assessment measure. Regarding MDBF, in April, MDBF was 179,699 miles, down 2.7% from 184,739 in April of 2012. The 12-month average was 163,412, down 2.9% from 168,209 miles for the preceding 12 months. Moving on to key performance indicators, system-wide service KPI was 83.4%, up 8.8% from April of 2012. System-wide passenger environment survey KPI was 90.9%, up 0.1% from April of 2012. The Staten Island Railway PES KPI was 92.1%, up 4% from April of 2012. At this time, I would like to update you on our Fast Track program. Fast Track continues to enable the efficient completion of many maintenance tasks by allowing broad track access in designated service corridors. There were 6 Fast Tracks occasions in the first quarter of 2013. Some of the major work completed including removing from the tracks 321,000 pounds of debris, inspection of nearly 69,000 feet of third rail, cleaning over 14,400 drains, and painting 75,000 square feet of station areas. The cost of this work was $4.9 million. If completed under traffic utilizing typical flagging, it would be estimated at $10.1 million. Therefore, to date, we have achieved a net productivity gain of $5.2 million. In regards to overtime, Subway's unscheduled overtime expenses for the first quarter of 2013 totaled $40.4 million against a budget of $27.1 million, a variance of $13.3 million. The key drivers of the overage are Sandy-related expenses of $6.8 million, a 2012 overtime cash-in expense of $4.1 million that occurred in January of 2013, and weather-related expenses of $3 million, primarily due to the February 2013 snowstorm that we had. And finally, before I conclude my report, I would like to also take this opportunity to thank all New York City Transit employees and contractors who dedicated tremendous time and energy to restoring service to the Rockaways. It was an enormous effort, and I know I speak for a lot of the people when I say that we are very proud for their work and their accomplishments. And that's my report.
Thank you, Joe. Recognizing that he's new on the job, do we have any questions for Joe? Andrew?
Joe, there's only 50 R42s. They have a really hideous MDBF. Don't we have enough 160s that we could bring them out of the system already?
I'll look into it. Yes, I'll look into it.
33,000 on MDBF. That's
When you're dealing with such a small fleet like that, all it takes is...
Yeah, is
exact. Yeah.
Try that numbers down. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Darrell, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Commander-in-Chief of our buses.
Good morning. Today I will cover performance highlights for both fixed route and paratransit operations for the month of April 2013 and the past 12 months through April. I'll start with fleet reliability. For the month of April, the combined bus MDBF was 5,763 miles, or 18.6% greater than compared to the April 2012 levels. When looking at our performance over a rolling 12-month period through April, combined MDBF was 4,973 miles, an improvement of 36% when compared to the prior 12-month period. We are continuing our efforts to sustain maintenance reliability improvements within existing resource levels as we operate with 27% of our bus fleet over 12 years old. Next, I'll discuss our service delivery indicators for the month of April. The percent of completed trips was 99.4%, which was up 0.6%. Scheduled pullouts and for the AM and PM peaks were 99.8% or better, both higher than April 2012 levels. When looking at our performance over a rolling 12-month period, the percent of completed trips was 99.1%, an improvement of 0.9%. AM pullouts were at 99.5%, and PM pullouts were at 99.8%, both higher than the prior 12-month period. Regarding paratransit performance, in April 2013, there was an increase of 1.2% in the total number of accessoride requests for service when compared to the same time in 2012. For the full 12-month period, requests for service fell by 1.5% over the previous 12 months. Accessoride passenger no-shows increased by 0.2% in April when compared to the same period in 2012. But over the past 12 months, the overall level of no-shows has remained flat. That completes the bus operations report.
Questions for Commander-in-Chief Eric? All right, Cheryl, you're up.
Okay. Safety results for subways were as follows. In the month of February, the accident rate increased by 20.2%, moving to 3.45 per million subway customers from a rate of 2.87 in February 2012. Slip, trip, and falls was really where we saw the increase. The subway customer accident rate increased by 2.1% over the previous 12-month period. There were 82 confirmed fires for the month of April, a decrease of 20.4% from April 2012. Further, over the last 12 months, fires decreased by 16.6%. Please note there was a typographical error on page 3.27. It shows that we experienced an above-average fire in April, but we did not. It should also show 82 fires instead of 83. 100% of all fires were categorized as being low or average in severity for the month of April. The employee lost time accident rate increased by 23.1% for the Department of Subways during the month of March 2013 compared to March 2012, but decreased by 1.6% for the rolling 12-month period. Safety results for NYCT bus and MTA bus were as follows. The combined 12-month rate for bus collisions per million miles traveled increased by 6.8% through April 2013. Bus collision injuries, however, decreased by 15.8% for the same period. The combined 12-month rate for bus customer accidents per million customers decreased by 10.7% through April 2013. Bus customer accident injuries also decreased by 9.1% for the same period. The employee lost time accident rate decreased by 17.9% for NYCT bus and 16.6% for MTA bus for the month of March 2013 compared to March 2012. The rolling 12-month rate was down 8.2% for NYCT bus and 14.8% for MTA bus, respectively. All New York City Transit employee lost time results were as follows. The New York City Transit employee lost time accident rate increased by 3.1% for the month of March 2013 versus March 2012. The rolling 12-month rate was 3.16, down 4.8% from 3.32 the previous year. Thank you.
Questions for Cheryl?
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, all. During the first 4 months of 2013, total major felony crime is down 15% within the transit system compared to the same period last year. These 134 fewer crimes, 758 versus 892, include a 30% year-to-date decline in robberies, 205 versus 296 last year, and a 7.9% decline in grand larcenies, 458 versus 530 last year. For the month of April, total major felonies were reduced 20%, or 44 incidents, 173 versus 217, Robberies were down 21%, or 14 incidents, and grand larcenies decreased by 16%, 21 incidents. Year-to-date, we have averaged 6.3 major felonies per day, and that's down from 7.4 crimes per day that occurred in the same period in 2012. Part of this decrease can be attributed to the continued success of our decoy operations. As you remember, we substantially increased the number of our decoy teams and the frequency of our operations in the end of 2011. System-wide, we have conducted 130 decoy operations this year, resulting in 54 arrests, 36 of those for grand larceny. Our decoy operations has led to 19 more grand larceny arrests in the same period last year, an increase of 112%. We'll continue to conduct these operations based on crime trends that may arise. Attention to quality of life issues within the subways also remains a priority. Specific incidents that are related to passengers' quality of life are monitored for heightened focus. These offenses include disorderly conduct, panhandling, passing between train cars, and public urination, among others. For example, we recently identified 14 stations that have increased incidents of quality of life complaints. These stations are targeted for enforcement of quality of life violations. Examples include 34th Street Penn Station, Pelham Bay Park, Chambers Street, DeKalb Avenue, 42nd Street, Grand Central Station, and 34th Street, Harold Square. This enforcement is adjusted as complaints and trends change. Focusing on stations with a higher rate of such complaints is just one method we use to improve the quality of life for our subway riders. Some of our quality of life complaints relate to juveniles within the subways. Each school day, we experience an influx of thousands of students into the subway system during the afternoon dismissal. In an effort to reduce youth-related quality of life complaints after school hours, we have dedicated teams who work together with children and school staff. Officers who serve on these school teams are skilled in approaching youth-related issues with an appropriate balance of outreach and, when necessary, enforcement. These teams work directly with precinct school teams, as well as with our school safety agents in each of our public schools. This enables us to be alert to ongoing concerns and provide outreach to students. Our attention towards offenses related to juveniles and related school conditions is paramount. Whether it's complaints of youths peddling food or candy, playing loud music, or acting disorderly, these conditions deserve our attention. Education and outreach are important, as students may commit quality of life offenses without realizing they're doing so. Our district school teams work to ensure safe passage for our children to and from school while addressing any adverse impact on other passengers. We will continue to focus on school-related crimes. We categorize school-related crime as any major felony that takes place during or shortly after school hours and involves either victims or offenders who are of school age. Closely monitoring school-related crimes allows us to focus on the safety of our youth while at the same time identifying crimes that may impact passengers. Additionally, our Operation Safe Passage program provides additional uniformed officers at key stations with a high volume of school children during the afternoon dismissal. This program is employed on school days in each of our transit districts and has been proven to be successful. As this current school year draws to a close, I'm pleased to report that school-related crimes are down compared to last year. As of May 28th, school crime has declined 23.9%, or 64 incidents, 204, compared to 268 last year. This decline was led by a 37% decrease in robberies this school year. The reduction in school-related crime was due in large part to our focus on crimes involving youth. Thank you, Mr. Tom Prendergast, Carmen Bianco, Joe Leder, for your continued support, as well as the members of this board, and any suggestions or questions, glad to handle.
Thank you, Joe. That's not bad. Major felonies down in April, more than 20%. And year-to-date, down also, and robberies down 22%. Not bad. Well done. Questions for Chief Fox?
Yes. Chief, let me add my voice to that of the chairman's with respect to the remarkable decrease, especially in major felonies, but crime across the board. This is something that we had hoped for as you were appointed to lead the Transit Bureau. So I can't can't say enough in terms of thanks and congratulations to you and the men and women of the Transit Bureau.
Thank you.
Let me ask, is this a decrease that's even across transit districts, or does it tend to concentrate itself in one area or another geographically?
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because I left out my report. I put the, and I'll include it next time, the proportion of by boroughs the crime. But it's all boroughs. It's reflective of all boroughs. And I did mention last month that's 7 precinct initiative where we focus geographically. Doing well in all of those except for one, and where it's very small numbers, and we're turning a corner in that command in the stations within the 108. So it's spread across the system. Thank you. And I'll pass both your remarks on to the dedicated COs and members of the Transit Bureau. I appreciate that.
All right, Carmen, ready to talk about money?
Yes, sir. Finance. Preliminary March 2013 New York City Transit fare box revenue was $337.7 million. That's $3.8 million, or 1.1% above budget. Year-to-date revenue was $4.2 million. That's 0.5% below budget, mostly due to the February snowstorm. The average non-student fare in March 2013 was $1.76. Preliminary March 2013 operating expenses before depreciation and OPEB were below budget by $27.5 million, or 5.3%. Labor expenses underran by $8 million, 2.1%, including lower health and welfare, including OPEB current expenses due to lower rates than anticipated, and favorable payroll and other fringe benefit results.
Wait a minute, you forgot my favorite statistic about the decline since 1996. Oh, you didn't? Oh, you did?
Well,
Oh, you did? Go ahead, sorry.
okay, that's... There's no winning that one for me. Well, I'll start that over. Labor expenses underran by $8 million, or 2.1%, including lower health and welfare, OPEB current expenses due to lower rates than anticipated, and favorable payroll and other fringe benefit results, partly offset by higher overtime expenses caused mainly by adverse weather and continued Sandy and other maintenance requirements. Non-labor expenses were below budget by $19.6 million, 13.3%, mostly attributable to underruns in paratransit service contracts and electric power expenses, and the favorable timing of expenses in several other accounts. Year-to-date operating expenses were favorable to budget by $42.6 million, or 2.8%, due essentially to the same factors affecting the month's results. Moving to ridership, March 2013 New York City Transit ridership totaled 201.5 million, 0.2% above budget. March 2013 average weekday ridership results compared to March 2012 were as follows. Average weekday subway ridership was 5.4 million, a decrease of 1.7% due to the early timing of Passover, Good Friday, and the public school spring recess. Average school day ridership, which excludes these days, increased by 0.9%. Average weekday New York City Transit local bus ridership was 2.1 million, a decrease of 5.4%. Average school day ridership decreased by only 0.9%. New York City Transit Express bus ridership was 43,000, a decrease of 4.6%. Average school day ridership decreased by only 1.6%. Paratransit ridership was 29,000, a decrease of 9.9%. An early look at the preliminary April 2013 financial results. Farebox revenue was $3.7 million, that's 1.1% above budget. Preliminary April 2013 operating expenses exceeded budget by $5.2 million, or 1%. Labor expenses were favorable by $3.8 million, 1%, due primarily to lower health and welfare, OPEB current expenses, resulting from lower rates than anticipated, partly offset by higher overtime expenses. Non-labor expenses were higher than budget by $9 million, or 6.2%, due mainly to unfavorable timing of several professional services and maintenance contract expenses. That concludes the report, sir.
questions on finance for Carmen?
Would you like to move to Darrell first? Or?
All right. Anybody wants to ask questions is welcome. Otherwise, we'll hear from you on money, Darrell.
Okay. Year-to-date, March 2013 farebox revenues for MTA Bus were $45.8 million, which is $1.3 million, or 2.8% better than the adopted budget. The average non-student fare was $1.77 in March, up 6.6% from February of 2013. Year-to-date, March 2013, actual MTA Bus non-reimbursable accrued expenses before depreciation and OPEB were $7.5 million, or 5.3% below the adopted budget. The performance against budget represents a combination of favorable non-labor expense underruns of $8.2 million, offset by nominal unfavorable labor expenses of $700,000. The favorable non-labor expense underrun was primarily due to lower than budgeted spending and favorable timing of payments for insurance, maintenance contracts, fuel, and maintenance materials. Labor expenses were unfavorable due to payroll costs related to Superstorm Sandy, partially offset by pension and health and welfare costs. The Sandy-related costs are mostly due to the operation of a high-volume bus shuttles by both MTA Bus and New York City Transit Bus until the restoration of the A-Train service to the Rockaways. MTA Bus was slightly under budget by 0.4% for overtime through the first quarter of 2013, despite incurring unbudgeted costs for shuttle bus service in the Rockaways. With regard to New York City Transit Department of Buses, first quarter 2013 overtime levels were $9.1 million, or 25% over budget of $36 million. Sandy-related shuttle costs and winter storm prep and response account for 60% of the overrun. The balance is attributable to service-related delays associated with traffic and maintenance requirements. An early look at preliminary April financials. Preliminary April 2013 farebox revenue was $600,000 above budget. Preliminary April 2013 operating expenses before depreciation and OPEB were below budget by $400,000, reflecting the continued positive performance in several non-labor areas of expense, partially offset by overruns in labor. For ridership, preliminary year-to-date, March 2013, MTA bus ridership totaled $30 million, which is 3.8% or 1.1 million higher than budget. Preliminary March 2013 average weekday local bus ridership was 375,000, a decrease of 3.4% from March 2012, due mostly to the earlier date of Passover and Good Friday holidays in 2013. This shortfall was fully reversed in April. Preliminary March 2013 average weekday express bus ridership was 33,000, a decrease of 6.5% from March of 2012. Preliminary March 2013 average weekday local bus ridership was 373,000, an increase of 2.9% from March 2012. Preliminary April total ridership was 7.1% above budgeted levels. This concludes the MTA bus finance and ridership reports.
All right, questions, Andrew?
Darrell's report brought up something that I was wondering. Since the MTA bus, was responsible for providing the bus shuttle from Far Rockaway to Howard Beach, and transit was not running full-length A's. A's were being short-turned at Howard Beach, and no service to Rockaway Park. So does that mean that transit actually saved money for that period of time by not running several additional train sets? Because it obviously would have required several more train sets.
Yeah, but keep in mind also that we were running a shuttle for the entire 7 months.
But from Beach 90th to Far Rockaway.
I don't have the answer on the offset. Frankly, something we can look into, but I just intuitively don't think it's there. But we can look at it.
Can I just add, there were some mileage savings, but from a crew savings because it was done as a supplement for a large part. I don't believe there were substantial savings on our side.
Well, if it's less train sets, that means less crews, unless you reassign them somewhere, right?
No, but then they get paid their picked work or overtime, whichever is greater. There was a new line pick that was put in the middle of this, but again, it's less efficient to have the split operation, so we can get you the actual numbers, but it wasn't substantial.
Okay, thank you.
You aren't saying that we shouldn't run the A train all the way to the end of the Rockaway? Oh, okay.
No, but if we're going to make an effort to figure that out, that's fine, but there's the substitute bus service. I mean, you look at the whole thing, I can't see us there really being any...
Well, I think that's exactly right. I mean, by the time you add it all together...
It probably costs more.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the...
It'd be interesting to see it, I suppose, what the total... But I mean, if you're going to do it, I think the cost of the additional bus service has to be part of it, too. So
There's an additional expense on one end, then there has to be probably a little less somewhere else because you're making up for that.
Not necessarily.
What drove our decisions, frankly, on the Rockaway service was to deliver the best possible service we could while we were out of, while the system was down. That's what our overriding priority was. So, in terms of Darrell and Department of Buses did a great job on putting in, a bus shuttle that ran the entire period of time, and to the shuttle that we were able to run on the peninsula itself. We did what we had to do. I don't think we're going to see the savings there, Andrew, but we can look at it.
All right, capital program. Do we still have a capital program, Fred Smith?
Yes, we do. We're very busy. With the Sandy work as well. Looking at capital program results for the month of April, new awards total $252 million, the largest being the signal modernization on the Dyer Avenue line. And that work does represent the last and the oldest signal work on the A division on the system. We also awarded 3 segments of the in-house track program for this year at various locations, and replacement of the direct current DC power distribution system at our rail shop at 207th Street. That's the power feed that moves the trains within the shop building itself. Completions for the month of April totaled $156 million, the largest being the work that we had been doing on the Rockaways at Beach 25th, 36th, 44th, 60th, and 67th Street over the last 2 years. And also we finished work on DC feeders and enclosures at the J Street substation, and also built a new circuit breaker house to support power in that interlocking area. That completes my report for April.
Cross-examination of Fred? All right, let's turn to the real business procurements. Where are you, Steve? Oh, there you are.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
The procurement package, which presents New York City Transit, MTA Bus, and MTA CC procurements, includes 22 actions totaling $113.8 million in expenditures. I would like to highlight three items included in this month's agenda. The first item is a non-competitive award in the amount of $38.2 million to New York State Industries for the Disabled for janitorial and window cleaning services at various New York City Transit and MTA Bus Company locations. This contract will be awarded in accordance with Sections 162 and 163 of the New York State Finance Law, pursuant to which New York City Transit is required to purchase designated services from preferred sources. Following extended negotiations, significant price reductions were obtained, resulting in a first-year price of $6.6 million, which is 7.3% or approximately $521,000 lower than the price being paid in the final year of the expiring contract. This contract is subject to the approval of the New York State Comptroller, and as such, will not be awarded until the Comptroller's approval is obtained. The next 2 items, totaling $50 million, are for budget adjustments to 2 existing competitive contracts that were needed to support emergency assessments and design costs for the repairs necessitated by Superstorm Sandy. The contracts involved an indefinite quantity contracts for architectural engineering services. Task orders for required services under these contracts are let competitively, and these 2 firms have been selected for a large number of projects. The requested budget adjustments will enable New York City Transit to continue meeting immediate needs while we solicit new contracts for these services. I ask for your approval of the actions in the agenda.
All right, is there a motion to approve the procurements? Thank you. Yes, and then now you may answer a question. Okay, thank you.
Steve, on page 5.26, the Skanska item has 3 references to the Broadway Nassau station, which, as we know, doesn't exist anymore, so that should be changed to Fulton Street, yes?
Okay?
Okay.
Wait Right. Any other corrections to the procurement agenda? All those in favor? Any opposed? Procurements are adopted. Service changes. Peter? Wherefore art thou?
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
there
right
you are.
here.
Okay.
And actually, I'll be joined shortly by Norm Silverman on the other table, because we have six, in section 6 of the agenda, we have 6 staff summaries for the committee. 4 of those items are New York City Transit items that I'll speak to, of which 2 require board and committee and board approval. The remaining 2 items are MTA bus proposals, of which 1 requires board approval. And I will begin with the New York City Transit actions and then turn discussion over to Norm, who will cover the MTA bus proposals. The 2 New York City Transit actions for board approval were the subject of a recent public hearing and included the following. Our first action is a proposal to extend the B67 bus route in Brooklyn to connect downtown Brooklyn, Dumbo, and the Brooklyn Navy Yard. This proposal is part of the 2012 service investments that were approved by the board last year. Our second action, which requires board approval, is a proposal to implement a new bus route called the B32 to serve the waterfront areas in Williamsburg and Greenpoint, and to provide a connection from those areas to the subway and to Long Island City. This proposal is also a 2012 service investment. A summary of the comments made at the public hearing is included with the agenda materials, and a summary of the Title VI analysis done for these 2 changes is also included in handouts that were handed out today. Our third staff summary, which is presented for information, is a minor modification and extension to the route path of the M100 bus route in Manhattan, so that it continues on East 125th Street to 1st Avenue, avoiding a difficult left turn from East 125th Street onto 3rd Avenue. New York City Transit's final staff summary presented for information is for bus schedule changes on 47 routes proposed for implementation in the September 2013 PIC. Note that these represent routine changes in response to changes in ridership and associated revised running times that more closely match changes in operating conditions. I ask for your approval of the preceding 2 action items in the agenda.
Would you like to take the vote on those, or take them all at the end? Why don't we do them all at the end? Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead, Andrew. Yeah.
Peter, on the B32 proposal, why is it not referring to the E, M, and 7, since it's all a complex there in Long Island City?
I think because we can revise that, but I think the 7 it hits actually connects to earlier at the Vernon Jackson station, so the primary purpose of going up to Court Square is to hit the E and the M, and it actually connects at that end of the station that's best served, serving the E and the M.
Okay.
I have
go ahead.
On the Q70, it was mentioned at the hearing, someone had suggested that the bus should use the shoulder on the Grand Central Parkway. I just wonder if you'd contacted DOT about the possibility of doing that, at least after construction's finished.
And Norm will talk to those issues when we're done with the transit.
Oh, okay, that's a...
Right. Who's going to do the MTA bus service changes? Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. For MTA bus, the agenda includes 2 staff summaries, one for board approval that was the subject of a recent public hearing, and the second one is a separate information item, as Peter indicated. For the action item, MTA bus proposes to establish a new route. That's what I was talking about, the Q70 Limited, and revise the Q33 local route. The service change proposes the establishment of a new Q70 limited stop service, a faster and more direct route to LaGuardia Airport from transit hubs in Woodside and Jackson Heights in Queens, and to revise the travel path of the Q33, which currently provides local bus access between Jackson Heights and LaGuardia Airport. This proposal is consistent with the recommendation of the LaGuardia Airport Access Alternative Studies, which is a joint effort of MTA Bus, New York City Transit, New York City's Department of Transportation, and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. A goal of the study was to determine and implement near-term improvements to enhance transit travel to and from the airport. A public hearing of the proposed Q70 route and the associated revision to the Q33 was held on May 1st, and a summary of the comments made at the hearing is included with the staff summary and the agenda materials. We believe that this new Q70 service will provide significantly improved regional transit connectivity to the airport by virtue of its direct travel path, limited stops, and use of wide streets and a portion of the highway network. Again, please note that we are asking for approval of the version of the resolution that's been distributed here rather than the version in the book. The earlier version neglected to mention that a Title VI analysis had been performed and distributed to board members and found no disparate impact resulting from the proposed service improvements.
Norm, can I ask you one quick question on the Q70?
You can even ask me a quick one or a long one, whatever you prefer.
Have you checked how often that little piece of the BQE is gridlocked?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's the portion, and this is anecdotal, I can't give you statistical information, but anecdotally, that's the portion that's gridlocked the least. What's the portion of the BQE that often gets gridlocked is far south of that, as you approach the expressway and as you approach the over Newtown Creek, etc. That's the section that's faster, and even if it does get a little gridlocked, for anyone who's traveled on the Q33, it's a lot faster than the current one-way pair that it uses north of Jackson Heights, and a lot more reliable. So we believe it's a win-win situation.
I agree with that. I actually took that portion of the BQE during peak hours when I went to the public hearing, and the problem of the route, if there is any, would be along the Grand Central portion. And someone had suggested if they could use the shoulder, and I thought that was a very good suggestion after having driven on it. I don't know if you talked to DOT about it. Maybe after the construction they could do that, but I think that's a valid suggestion. But it's such a short...
You mean the service road?
The service road. What? No, the shoulder. No, I don't mean the service road. I do mean the shoulder, because there's an extra, the wide shoulder there. That's, I think it'd be good for the bus to use. I think it's a good idea. But if there's any, it's such a short distance. The delay can't be more than a minute. I would say even in bad traffic. So I think this is a great idea. I look forward to seeing it. But I urge you to check with DOT to see if...
We will, but as you noted, there is a lot of roadway construction going on there. So until they finish that, but we'll talk to them. But I think this is going to work pretty well as it is. But we'll monitor it for sure.
A lot of the issues with traffic is perception. I mean, if you're delayed a minute, if you're stuck in traffic, you feel it as if somehow you've been there 10, 20 minutes when really it's only been... Because your expectations on the highway are pretty high.
All right, a motion has been made to approve the service changes to the New York City Transit's B67 and B32 and the MTA Bus Q70 service changes. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. They are approved.
There's one more service change that I didn't discuss. It doesn't require approval, but I should just read it for the record.
Okay, go ahead.
The information item, it's an information item. It's a staff summary, just like Peter mentioned for New York City Transit, of fall bus schedules. There are 15 MTA bus schedule changes on a total of 8 routes proposed for implementation in September 2013. 10 of the bus schedules changes contain increases to service frequency or span, and 5 contain decreases in service frequency. These reflect routine adjustments in service to conform with the board-approved loading guidelines and or changes in travel market conditions. Implementation of these schedule changes will be, as I said, in September. And with that, unless there are any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you. Special presentations, Carmen?
Yes, in section 7 of your books, we have our regular status report on MetroCard program for the committee as information.
Okay, and now we have standard follow-up reports, and I hope everybody got the first quarter report of the E&E division, the elevator and escalator. There used to be a time when we never knew anything about the elevators and escalators here. Now we have every detail about our 206 elevators and our 166 escalators, more than we even care to know. So you've really shaken up that department very well.
Yes, and the report that you'll find in your book, we actually have a separate handout. There was a misprint in the book, so please use the separate handout. But I'm also pleased to report that we continue to see improvements in the elevator and escalator section. As a matter of fact, both elevators and escalators have exceeded the goal established for 6 quarters now running. So,
and they're generally operating at about 97% of the time too, which is quite an improvement.
Yep. Also included in in your books in Section 8 is the Transit Adjudication Bureau report covering activities for the first quarter of 2013. And the final item in this section is the EEO and diversity report for the same period, the first quarter of 2013. The report provides information on the agency's workforce utilization, demographic information on new hires, and data on complaints filed with the Office of EEO, as well as with external agencies.
Thank you. Any further questions for Carmen before he is finished? And now we turn the meeting over to Dr. H. We still do have a Fulton Street Transit Center, a 2nd Avenue subway, and East Side access, and a 7-line extension. Anything happening there, Dr. H?
Yeah, we do. Okay, let me, okay. The Fulton Center, the Corbin Building restoration has been completed in April, and right now the Transit Center building remains as one of the last unfinished pieces for the Fulton Center. We are in the midst of installing finishes, the floor style, the floors, the tiles, the ceilings, as well as the systems. We are on schedule for completion by June 2014 of the Fulton Center.
So 1 year from today, it'll be done?
It will be done, yes. Okay. One of the interesting elements of the Transit Center building is the fact that we're going to be bringing light to the lowest level of the subway system. And we've done that through a combination of art and architecture that is in effect bringing light through a combination of a stainless steel cable netting that holds about 950 panels that are reflecting the light all the way to the lowest level. Do we have anything on that? No. Okay. So this is most of these panels have been installed. I would say that probably in a couple of weeks we'll be done with the installation. So that's Fulton Center. Number 7-line extension. And here we'll say that the construction is ongoing. We are overall about close to 90% done. And right now the thing that is primarily left is the systems work. And just to go over it, a couple of things. Can you get on? This is the end of the system. This is the A site that eventually will get the development on it. This is what it looked like in April of 2012. This is how it looks now. We came above ground, and when we're done, it's going to have a building, and this building will actually be surrounded by a development that will come on that site. As we move on to site J, this is again a picture from April 2012. You can see the location where we were, and right now we do have a building. This is May 2013, and we are again the park is being what you're seeing here, kind of a spotty white, and this is a preparation for the park work, and the building will come in the back, and that's going to be the next one. It's about when it's done, that's how the park is going to look like. The entry as well as the site for 11th Avenue for the building that will come up. I think we have one more. And that's a futuristic look as to how that building is going to look like. But that's what we're expecting there. As we move on, this is site K. That's Corn Shell next to 36th Street, and this is how it looked like in April 2012. This is how it looks today, May 2013. Again, this is going to be incorporated in a building that's 11th Avenue, and 36th Street is right there. So this is the site K when completed that will actually incorporate the ancillary building into a future development.
By any chance did you accidentally extend the 7-line extension south of 33rd Street to hook up to the L line at 14th Street?
Not really. We are actually, our tunnel ends at 26th Street. It's about 12 blocks short of 14th Street. So we're close, but no cigar there. At this point, Site P is actually the one that is also under works. We do not have a picture for, but that's not part of the revenue service completion, so that will be done at a later stage.
And revenue service is also
Revenue
from
service
today, right?
also, yes.
Okay. You're going to have a busy June next year.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're showing me. Yes, we did receive an award from the New York State Society of Professional Engineers, but I wasn't gonna.
Please tell us.
I'll let Murray Bowden. He did the job last time. The other, yes, we did receive that. The award is in Lake Placid, and we expect that to be. It's a nice recognition for the work, for the good work that has been done there. So we are happy to have had that. Thank you. Second Avenue. We opened bids for the last contract, 86th Street finishes. We have a low bidder that is a joint venture of Chevron and Picon with a low bid of $208 million. There are a total of 5 bids, and our estimate was 243, so we're happy we have put some more money in the kitty by doing that. We expect to award the contract in a few days. Let me start basically up north at 96th Street. As of the end of May, we completed the mass excavation for the project. We're about 98% done. We continue excavation at entrances 1, 2, and the auxiliaries, and we are working below ground to, in effect, we are removing the struts and we are putting in the structural base slab, and a lot of the inverts are being done, and we expect to complete all the inverts by July. So the work there is proceeding rather well. We've also awarded to the same exact joint venture of Cruz-Talley the finishes work. It's about 14% done, and we are working in the existing tunnels north of 99th Street to put the benches, and we're about 70% done over there. So, and I would say that the walls in the former launch box for the TBM are about half done as well. So the work is proceeding as far as we're concerned on schedule.
Your estimated revenue service there is
December,
3.5 years from now.
yes, 3.5 years, December 26th.
How reliable do you think that prediction is?
I would say that given the progress that we've made, unless we encounter some unexpected lawsuits that we never know when they can pop, because we have had a number of them over time, it's pretty reliable. We expect to hit the date. At 86th Street, the cavern mining has moved very well. In effect, they did so well that we expect the cavern itself to complete the blasting this month. So that's in June, I mean. So that's it's a good it's a good step forward. It's also good because we are disturbing the community much less as we decrease the amount of blasts.
Oh, by the way, we should congratulate you on your 2nd Avenue Retail Appreciation Week, or I know that board member Albert had something to do to help you there, I believe. Will you tell us what you're doing there?
I will tell you in a moment when I get to that
sorry,
part. I'm actually still on construction, and I know the desire to finish as soon as possible, so I'm going to try to move forward on that. Basically, the work at 86th Street has been somewhat delayed at one of the entrances, and that had to do with work that we had to do next to a building that did not quite favor our presence there, the Yorkshire building. And we had to kind of combine work that is done as a local law 11 with our work. I think that we're over that right now, and we expect to move forward. We have another, in effect, we believe that has been solved. At this point, we are proceeding with the excavation, and once we go below a certain level and we put a decking back in place, we will look into how we accelerate the work. We're late there. We started late by 4 months for a variety of reasons, and now we are, in effect, at a point that we would be able soon to be able to accelerate some of the work. At 72nd Street, all excavation has been finished. It's extensive concreting done. Anyone going down there will be able to see it almost complete. I mean, we are now, we have done a lot of concreting in the tunnels leading to 63rd Street. And one of the things that will be visible and important for the people around is the fact that we started to dismantle the mock house at 72nd Street. And it started the week of May 20th. Anyone going there can see that we have done that. Certain pieces started to peel off, and we expect to complete that probably in about a month or so. The 69th Street dismantling is anticipated to start October 2013. So by the end of the year, we look forward not having mock houses around the 72nd Street. We still will have them on 86, but not on 72nd. The 63rd Street, the structural steel installation in the various mezzanine is proceeded, as well as the concreting. When we look at, I would like to just mention the fact that we do have track power communication systems. We have a contractor working. We just at the beginning of our road, 80% completion as of May. That is going to move forward as we start completing the work. This is 72nd Street. It shows you the walls are done, and we are concreting the ceiling as we move from north to south. This is actually already, this is moved from here because right here we already completed that, so it's a little outdated for the moment. This is looking at the vent tunnel at 72nd Street. Again, this is the cavern concrete, the invert installation. Again, 68th Street looking south. The 86th Street station, this is basically the bottom of the bench. We actually finished that, so now we have just a few more pieces to take out. And this is the South Ancillary Cavern. This is in April. Keep going. This is actually an ancillary cavern that looks south, and we'll give you another shot. This was April, and this is what's now. So we actually have been able to by now we are pretty much clear to at the bottom. This is some egress in vents. Keep going. 96th Street is the one that I've mentioned, the fact that we started to take down struts, and you can see it. We're putting the walls, and the middle struts are going out right now. At 91st Street, it looking south right now. This is we're doing the installation of the we'll show. This is actually, that's the hall above that we're looking at. Keep going. We started to do the mezzanine slab shoring tower, and then this is the tunnels southbound looking south at 91st Street. So this is pretty much progressing. This is a look into the existing tunnels north. Keep going. That's it. Let me just talk about for a moment about the government community affairs. We had 2 community tours on May 18 that I conducted, and by now we have actually taken 600 people from the neighborhood down into the cavern. I believe, I don't remember, it's 24 or 26 tours. There's normally, I think it's 26, so it's about 13 weekends that we're doing it on weekends only.
All of them returned at the end to the surface?
All returned to the surface, and all as actually, we did surveys to find out the usefulness, and in fact, they're all doing something that one time, many moons ago, a contractor told me, said, "Don't thank me, recommend me." So our tours are, in general, booked the day we advertise them. Within half a day, we have the people, and a lot of them are new. Very few repeaters, because we do not have room for repeaters. So that's one of the things. We had, we do quarterly workshops, and we now introduce a new workshop type. It's called Ask the Experts. We bring people from the various departments within the city: sanitation, transportation, health, DEP. So people come and ask questions, and the desks are manned. It worked pretty well. We had about 100 members last time around from the community, and we are now evaluating to see if it's worth doing that or going back to the workshop. We now have 2 workshops to Ask the Experts. So now one of the things that I was going to mention, that on Thursday, I believe, we had a kickoff of Shop 2nd Avenue. A lot of people attended it, including elected officials, and that it works well, and we encourage everyone to go shop 2nd Avenue. It will get better as we move along.
Questions for Dr. H? Andrew?
The connection to the queue line at 63rd Street, is that when the 3rd Avenue end of the current Lexington and 63rd Street station is going to be built?
The end of?
There's a 3rd Avenue end to the Lexington and 63rd Street F-line station now, and
yeah, well, it is the F goes through 63rd right now,
right?
On up. So what we're doing, we're building another half a station, so there will be an exchange, a free exchange on platform.
Right. And isn't there supposed to be a 3rd Avenue end to that station open at some point?
Beats me.
Well,
it is. I'm sorry that. I'm talking about the 3rd Avenue entrance. I'm sorry. Absolutely. The 3rd Avenue. This is a very deep station with one entry at Lexington, and the majority of work on 63rd is actually to provide entry at 4 corners at 3rd Avenue. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure what you are referring to. You said end. Yes. So therefore, we estimated that people that live east of 63rd Street would save somewhere about 8 to 10 minutes by actually being able to enter it from that point and exit, rather than having to go all the way to Lex, go down and have the whole trip. So yes, and there will be 4 entry points. ADA will have a number of elevators, 1 ADA elevator, but then from the mezzanine where you kind of from there you'll have 4 elevators going all the way to the platform. So it's a lot of
and that's estimated at December of 2016 as well?
Yeah, well, I hope much earlier than that.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Any further questions for Dr. H? Any further business to come before the meeting? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Thank you all very much.